Oh my goodness. Mm. All right. Looks like we are live, or I am live. Hello. I'm just going to get started here. Goodness, one second. I actually haven't started this yet. So, okay, let's do this. One second. There is so much going on today, I'll tell you. Mm. Let's see. I just need to forward this. I have something special tonight. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Um, Let me get started. Sorry. Mark is not going to be here tonight. So I have another guest lined up for tonight. This is our Steel Magnolia with Tiffany Fontenot, and I'm not sure when she's going to be joining us, but I'm going to start out talking about some news, some current events, and then we're going to get into the current events with Tiffany and she's going to share with us what she's finding with reverse speech analysis. So let me get started here. I'm going to start the report, start recording. Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Goldfish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, September 12th. My microphone so in my way. 2025. This is Goldfish Report number 1172. And this is an interesting report because it's not our usual weekly report. Mark Christopher Nelson is not with us tonight. He will be back next week, but he is not with us tonight. So at some point, we're going to have a returning guest at the Goldfish Report join me, Tiffany Fontenot, who is a reverse speech analyst, and she's going to discuss what she's been finding recently in terms of our current events with reverse speech analysis. And it's interesting because you see, I don't always use the traditional channels of information because we're living in a very deceptive world. So when you find other means of communication and they all confirm each other, then you know that there's reliable sources of information out there besides our conventional news reporting. But the first thing I wanted to talk about before Tiffany joins us, I did an interview earlier today. It was a very interesting interview. A lot of people have been hearing about this dimethyl sulfoxide, or known as DMSO. And recently, Dr. Pierre Corey who has a Substack account, has been publishing what I would say is a literature review of, I don't know, I think he cited over 3,000, some anecdotal and some scientific papers regarding the treatment of chronic illness with DMSO. And I had a special guest today, two special guests, and this is really what this world needs more of, is neighbors like Rebecca, who did the right thing and had some background that helped her go with her gut feeling, go with her hunch, and go with experimenting with the DMSO. And she helped her neighbor Dan, who was on our report today as well, talk about help well, we were talking all about this, but he has COPD, and she figured out a mixture through her research and on using this with combined with sorry, a piece of hair that's itching me, combined with distilled water in a nebulizer. And this man says how incredibly transformational this has been for him. He was really at the point where he couldn't do much of anything without losing his breath. And this is a very sad situation because we've lost so many people to diseases, lung diseases, that we didn't need to needlessly, because there were treatments, but they've been suppressed by the pharmaceutical industrial complex. We have to trace that back, do your own research and figure out where that goes. But I'm going to just screen share a picture of Dan, so that you could see what he looks like. The report is not out yet. I still have some work to do on it, but it will be released pretty soon. Let me just get the settings set up here. This is the gentleman here, and I'm just going to screen share a little bit about what he says about DMSO. I really hope everybody tunes into this report that will be published soon, because it's really important if anybody's having any kind of lung condition, pneumonia, asthma, COPD. So there's lots of conditions, but we're focusing tonight on we did today on the COPD. Take a listen.
Okay, well, Rebecca, my neighbor, mentions this about this DMSO. Okay, she's been researching it, and she asked me for the paperwork. This nebulizers, I guess, to see what amount goes in the nebulizer. I don't know. You'll have to ask her about that. And so, at that point, I'm ready to try anything. And so Rebecca gives me a solution to put in my nebulizer. And good Lord, I think I don't know if it was yesterday, Saturday. Has it been 2 weeks or 3?
Yeah, 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
In 3 days, I noticed a big difference. Unbelievable. Everyone I know says my color is back. I'm breathing, and I can talk without losing my breath. And I can do. I've done things that I haven't been able to do in a long time. I carried my groceries from my Jeep to my house, RV, whatever, and I've never hadn't done that in a long time. It's just I used to labor to get dressed in the morning. It'd take me a while. That's no life. Yeah, the improvements. If they're going to work on me, they'll work on anyone. They have to have COPD. I just can't believe it. I'm blessed to have a neighbor that thinks of me.
And I'm going to leave it right there because I think, he said the most important things there, and he was blessed to have a neighbor, someone who acted as a good Samaritan, as a good neighbor, as Jesus has asked us all and taught us all to be. Too many people are just, every man for themselves. And that's why we're in the mess that we're in. And when you see people who are compassionate and who are willing to go out of their way to help somebody, that's what Jesus was talking about. That's the spirit and the soul and the essence of goodness that will earn your way into heaven. And without that, I don't think you're going to get in there, but it's not up to me. So I wanted to share this because this is a really interesting interview. She goes through all the details of how she mixed it up, what the combination is, what the ratio is, and not just the nebulizer. She came up with some other mixtures, and so her name's Rebecca, and she just did a phenomenal job. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman, and certainly, I hope God blesses both of them for, it's kind of interesting because sometimes we don't know why certain people cross paths in our life. That's a deep one. But God knows why. And he does it for a reason. And Dan was really lucky to have a neighbor live next door to him who actually had some previous history with DMSO in a different context. And so this is really where this happened. And this is the video, that was a video I shared that Dr. Pierre Corey posted in his Substack article. It was just amazing, a wonderful interview, lovely people. And I hope you can tune in and watch that. If you know anybody that has these conditions, and it isn't limited to lung conditions, there are so many conditions that are treated. In fact, I talked about a few other ones in the interview. So keep a lookout for that because it's on the way. There's some work I need to do on it still. We did have some technical problems, and I don't know why Zoom does this. Why is Zoom having these technical problems? The screen freezes, it's not my computer, it's Zoom. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I hope that I can clean that up a little bit and then I'll get that published. In the meantime, we're waiting for Tiffany Fontenot to join us. And for those of you who are just joining us, I wanted to let you know that Mark is not with us tonight. He is not, he is busy, has another other event going on. And I just want to welcome everyone who's in the live chat. I'm trying to look at the chat, but it's not pulling up yet. So, but I will come back and I will check in on everybody. And if you're going to find this very interesting because Tiffany does reverse speech analysis, and she says that this comes from really almost the same place that Mark's information comes from, that reverse speech is really your higher self. It's beyond the filtering mechanisms that our conscious mind has, and in the subconscious, so which doesn't lie and it doesn't have it doesn't have filters. So essentially, the way I look at it is, so just so everyone knows, Mark is not with us tonight. We're gonna have Tiffany Fontenot join us. Oh, and do you know what? Knock, knock. Here she is. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. I was just talking about how tonight Mark isn't with me doing the report, and I was saying how it seems like the information that you receive from reverse speech and the information he receives it seems to be coming from the same place, through this higher self source. Would you say that's accurate?
I don't know where his is coming from, but where I get the reverse speech from is all of us are connected. So so God made our consciousness connected, both forward and backward, right? It's sort of to me like the Akashic records, like you might think of the Akashic records, or the Book of Life, like the Hebrew Bible calls the Book of Life. And so everything appears to have consciousness, but not everything is sentient. And so these are conscious, these are going to be coming from the consciousness, and they're going to be expressions that are sort of coming from the subconscious, but they come from more than one level. So your higher consciousness will be coming in about 10% of the time. And you never know what's going to come through. That's why you have to decode it and learn the language. So it depends on what level it's coming from. So it may be coming from something that's programmed already in your subconscious level that you want to work on, that may be healthy or unhealthy, that you want to reprogram in the subconscious. Or it may be coming from the global consciousness, or it may be coming from the higher consciousness. And the higher consciousness doesn't come in all the time. It comes in around 10% of the time to guide us and things like that. And it's really amazing when it comes in. But it's not like a helicopter mom. We're supposed to be doing this on our own and doing a proper job down here and getting counsel and guidance some of the time, so it comes in whenever it feels it needs to, I guess. But that's kind of where all of this is coming from. the
By the
consciousness.
incidentally, I just wanted to mention that Tiffany is one of my most favorite Texans. So I love Texans. I actually said that today to my other guests who I did an earlier report. You missed the beginning, I think, and I was talking to this gentleman and his neighbor who he was using DMSO to treat his COPD, and he's had this tremendous benefit, this life-changing improvement in his condition using this. And they're in Texas, and I was telling them today, because they don't know me yet, but they didn't know. Everyone who knows me knows I love people from Texas. My favorite
Yeah.
people in the world are from Texas. There's something in the water there, I think, Tiffany. I'm not quite sure. But you guys are just such full-spirited, loving people, and just so genuine and honest. I mean, just great people in Texas. Love you guys.
Thank you.
So, what's happening? What's going on lately? First of all, let me ask you, what is your opinion about? I know it's kind of a strange question to ask, but I mean, what do you think about this assassination of Charlie Kirk?
I think it's going to. I just read just a minute ago that they were thinking that it's coming from a foreign nation. I'm like, oh, really? I wonder what foreign nation that could be. He was flipping.
Yeah.
Candace Owens already flipped away from Israel, and Charlie Kirk was flipping away from Israel. And they're just, we know what's going on here.
Don't you love her? You have to love her. She's just so genuine. I love genuine, authentic people. And that's what we hope for on the GoldFish report here. So yeah, it does. I mean, look, it's you put two and two together, right? And you're right. He was very pro-Israel. And then he switched, and it did seem like they weren't happy about it. I don't know. Just saying. And then this plane in the airport was registered to some Shabbat house. That was out of Utah. Very sus. I'm just saying. Just it has to still be investigated. I'm not trying to blame them. I'm certainly by no means, accusing them of anything. It's just very sus. That's all I can say. But what
I,
have you been finding in your recent reverse speech with regard to current with, the events that are happening around us?
I have not been able to find a whole lot lately because I had to get a second job. And so I've been kept just exhausted. And, that's why I'm like, people don't support truth. They really don't. They're not sharing reverse speech, and they're not, David Oates has been able to make a living at it, and I have not. We've had like one major customer supporting us. And so I'm like, well, I don't know what it's going to take. They're supporting Netflix. They're supporting people lying to them on social media and in the propaganda. They're
Yeah,
supporting all of that. And then they run. It's funny because they run to me and they're like, "Tiffany, what are you finding?" To get the real truth, they come and ask me, and I'm like, "Look, I can't go and look at it because I had to get a second job because y'all are supporting people lying to you instead of the truth."
exactly, exactly. Look, everyone who's in the chat tonight usually gets these mini reads. Yeah, they usually ask Mark a question, and he's able to tune into psychically or psionically tune into, help them with a question. But um these people need to be supported, and so does GoldFish Report. But
Yeah.
that's another story. And they offer services though, and you do private readings, correct?
Yeah, it may just be that people haven't checked into it enough, or or what. But I can't, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do this extra job and reverse speech. It's got to be one. I can't be hopping from one thing to the other.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's, people have got to decide to properly support people who are not going to lie to you and not going to steal your data and all of that. I don't
Right.
even know. Let me tell you something, people. I'm old enough to not know how to steal your data.
Right. You know, um,
So
yeah,
just,
so well, the thing is you're very censored too. And even when you
yeah,
come
they're
on
spitting
GoldFish
on
Report,
me big time. Yeah.
and
The,
that's I think a big part of it is that if
oh,
you
it
can't
is.
get your message out, it's going to be very hard for people to find you and understand. What you do is you take a question, right? Or you have a person, how do you operate? If somebody wants to come to you for the services. How does that work?
Well, they go to, and I just had like an AI marketer. Like I don't, these people disabled me, and
Mm.
so I get a really ridiculous amount of money each month that I can't survive on. So I had to get an extra job, um, and so anyway, so it's so the AI marketer person, I said, well, you would have to be able to provide your services and then take a cut is what you'd
Mhm.
have to do
Mhm.
because I can't pay you. And so then he
Yeah.
disappeared.
So
But
is this your site here? Is that right?
yes, but what he
Okay.
said was my site wasn't coming up in his AI type search, and I'm not sure how he did that.
Mm.
I'm not sure what he was looking at. I'm not sure of anything except he said your site is not even coming up on the whatever he was looking at. So
Right, right.
it's being sit upon. I mean, it should come up in searches, and he said it wasn't coming up. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's hy.page, so high page
Mhm.
hy.page / our still small voice.
So our lovely Zoom software here is freezing again. Lovely. I just screen shared it and I was trying to share it again, but it didn't really seem to want to share. So I'll put that in the description section of the video for anyone who's interested.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
explain what you do. Explain what you do.
Okay.
People have
So
to mhm.
what they'll do is just like any other site, you've got to put in your contact data and you're going to have to send me something that says that because these people are, we have to protect ourselves so that we can continue giving these services,
Right.
and so you have to sign like a release form and, and that kind of thing. And then what you do is you send me they'll have, after you put your credit card information in and I'll fill all that stuff out and give me there will be an instruction list of things that
Okay.
you need to do. So, you'll sign the release and you will send me in an email. You'll send me the release back and you'll send me, or a picture of your signed release. And then you'll send me, an attachment
Mhm.
of a recording, and I prefer a video recording, but you can also send an audio recording, and it needs to have been obtained legally. So
No.
don't send me illegal recordings. Check the laws in your state and see if
Mhm.
there's one or two people that, how many people have to be aware that you're making a recording and that kind
Right.
of thing. And then, but you go to that high page, then you can also go in there. I've put a bunch of videos in our digital media store, and
Mhm.
you can sign up monthly for those, or you can just buy them individually.
Mhm.
And so we have a digital media store on that page, or you can send me either a 5 minute recording or a two
Mhm.
point five minute recording
Mhm.
of you, or see how reverse speech works. Um, you don't even have to have the recording of the person you're worried about or the whatever it is. You can talk about anything, and by virtue of the fact that you have chosen to talk about it, you will be telling the truth about it in your reverse speech. You'll be having truthful expressions about what's
Mhm.
in your whatever you're talking about. So
Right.
God has granted us
Mhm.
the magnificent ability to whatever we choose to focus on and talk
Mhm.
about, the truth will start coming in and
Okay.
being expressed on the opposite side, the side upon which we can't lie. We can't lie from that side of our consciousness.
Okay, so what's the latest revelations, that you have found from the last reversals you've been doing in terms of not violating any confidentiality with anyone. I'm just meaning like like what's publicly available. What do you feel like is or what does your reverse speech reveal that you feel like where are we at right now? Are we just
Well,
holding the line?
I started on I got the first two reversals in Trump's statement on Charlie Kirk, and I didn't get very far, except it was interesting because the FBI and Cash Patel are going to be involved, connected to that. And I posted those in our Telegram. Um, let's
I think
see.
I have my Telegram open. I can just go over to you and check that out. All right.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
see
trying
if
to
I
find
find
it because it's back a little bit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because
So
I
let me
have,
scroll a minute.
what
Scroll.
was the date on that? And then I can,
It was
because
the same day he was assassinated.
oh, okay. So let me move up forward because I was like I was back in May. I jumped back too far.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't that far
This
back.
is really fascinating stuff though, what you do, which is why I asked you to come on the Goldfish Report to talk about it. So you're saying, so what, that was the 10th, right? So that was
Okay,
the 10th. So let's go back.
yeah, here it is on September 10th.
Mhm.
So, let's see.
There was weird things that people are finding with this. There was also a report, and I saw a video of it, of a drone flying right over at the time he was shot. So I thought that was, I didn't know if you heard that one, but
You know, it's just
you
very
see it in the
silly.
video. You see it
It's
in the
very
video.
silly to me to think that like the Trump shooting, that
Mhm.
that they can't find these people who did they
Yeah.
with Charlie Kirk, with Trump. Do you know how many drones and how many satellites are looking at those places? They
Mm.
can see all of it. These are, you know, and I guess it was his security that was behind him, but there were two people. One of them was in a ball cap that was
Yeah.
in white, and the other one
Yeah.
was in black, and they were both signaling.
Yeah. I'm going to screen share this because I think I found it. You let me know. Is this the one you're talking about right here?
Well, it's so tiny I can't tell. That is Trump's statement. Let me read the reversal. So what he says forward, he says Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. The reversal there is horror knit, cash needed a new year, make full net, may ruin the whole. Then he says, key on this listen, knee limb. Then he says, beer ops, nail large. Okay. So what's the interpret?
I'm screen sharing it. We're looking right at it. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but go ahead.
It looks tiny to me, but well, I don't have mine fully open, so hopefully y'all can see all that. So connected to the forward speech in some way is the knitting horror. Whore is knitting horror. So now the whore is likely the whore of Babylon, who forced a worldview on people she conquered, and those not destroyed were subverted, and God's people were attacked through governmental persecution and through seduction and idolatry. And that's clearly happening worldwide.
Sure.
But so that whore is knitting horror connected to Charlie Kirk's. And see the horror and the AI horror is hubbed in Israel. And specifically it's going to be Tel Aviv. So
and that's interesting because when this happened, there was reports that they had to whisk Netanyahu away from where he was to Tel Aviv very quickly. What a coincidence. Well, just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they are able to see all of this stuff with the new systems that they've been testing on me and so many TIs like me all over the world, millions of us.
Right.
So people don't understand how big this is. So then this in some way is connected to Cash, perhaps FBI Director Cash Patel, who needed a period of time to create a full network and or to create an entire trap that may ruin an escape route that is key, connected to listening to Trump's message, connected to submission, and connected to going out on a limb, connected to a bureau, likely the Federal Bureau of Investigation, operation that nails large prey. So, so they're trying to entrap. Now, let's think about this for just a minute in terms of January 6th. And Trump, let me just give you the rundown on Trump, what I've found on him.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's not good. You know, you don't get to that level without having, you know, he's so compromised, it's not even funny. You know, he's
Okay.
compromised. He loves this country. But he's compromised. Like they're threatening his life. His daughter Ivanka has been, according to the reversals I'm finding, is being cyber tortured into being brainwashed. So she's like Patty Hearst. And it's connected to Jared Chabad Lubavitch Kushner cyber torturing her. Okay. So you got that. So his daughter's being brainwashed. And did you see when he was taking his oath, she was dressed just like an IDF unit
Yes,
at U-200.
that was noted. That was noted. Yep.
Um, so then Trump is like his life is being threatened, and his brother was murdered by the NWO to keep Trump in line. Okay. They're going to say, oh, yeah, he was an alcoholic. I'm telling you, the reverse speech is coming forward in Trump's own speech saying that they murdered his brother and then brought the Khazarian mafia in to coerce him. Okay. And this was all organized by the Satanic World Order, is what he says in that reversal. Now, Trump his father was a psychopath, and connected to someone else's reverse speech that I saw, that I heard, that I couldn't debunk. It was a very clear reversal. He was likely sexually abused by his father. Okay, so these people, this energy seems to be like, the energy of alcoholics and children of alcoholics. The adult children of alcoholics are usually teetotalers and don't want to have anything to do with it and hate it with a lifelong passion. That was like my grandma. Hated it. Or they just jump in and become the next monster. Okay. So we've got to stop this cycle of indoctrination. These babies are being born pure, but then they're being raised in these satanic families.
So just in summary,
and then they turn into the next set of monsters and predators.
Unfortunately, right? It's
and at that point,
right?
It's like a rabid dog. Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
So in your words, if you could summarize what you feel is going on there in that with Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Charlie was flipping away from Israel, and he is a big influencer. Now, you see, they send their people out like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not flipping.
No, we noticed that.
And he is not dead. Charlie Kirk flipped, and he is dead. Do you see the juxtaposition? It's just not really hard to see, in my opinion. And the FBI is apparently saying, yeah, it is a foreign. But, you know, the thing is that Israel is the hub. Okay, so you have these factions all over the world that are working together on an agenda-driven basis, who believe in they are the overlords. They are supposed to be the overlords. They're eugenicists. They get to have everything, and then we are here to serve them. That's what they believe. They have eugenicists. They're eugenicists. They're transhumans, and they believe they have the right to rule for whatever reason. Okay. And they're different factions. They're not all the same, but they have come together in a dark network. Okay, so if you think about this like as the Borg, or like Star Wars, you know. So that's what it's coming across that way. It even uses that metaphor sometimes, the Sith metaphor, the children of dark. So these are going to be Satanists, Baal worshippers, you know, atheists, people who have lost their way. It's going to have, you know, pedophiles and all kinds of, you know, the people who flocked to Jeffrey Epstein. This is and he's only one network. It's a big network.
Right.
So the rest of us are becoming aware of these people again, and we are going to have to, you know, they're going to have to be rounded up. This is the corruption. It is a giant trafficking network. criminal trafficking network. They traffic in any way they can, and so now they've got a new way to traffic, and that's I'm digitally trafficked. And the military is connected to mine, and especially these are going to be satanic spooks within the military. And I'll just shout out right now, Alexander Titus. I didn't even know who that man was. I didn't even know our DOD had a biotech head. I did not even know that synthetic biology existed in August of 2019 when that man followed me and then blocked me the next day. And people were like, Tiffany, the DOD biotech head just followed you on Twitter. And I was like, I don't know that guy. So when I looked into him, he's worked for In-Q-Tel. In-Q-Tel. So he looks to be like a satanic spook, and he was in the military, and he so there's a satanic spook link. And when I got my this is what we need to be asking about these shooters too. You need to ask, and my comment was deleted from YouTube under this video. Where is that video? It's the new cackling women. It's just like the what was that show with Whoopi Goldberg? The
View.
The View that got canceled. Okay, this is going to be the conservative version of that. Little cackling hens that get together. So they're talking about the guy who reportedly killed that woman, that Ukrainian woman, right? And he's from Charlotte, North Carolina, right? And what he's saying is effectively he's been hijacked. And they're saying, well, he's just crazy. He needs to be in a mental institution. And so I asked the question, can I please see his heavy metals test that you did? Can I see his RF scan? And can I see his nonlinear junction scan, please? And they deleted my comment. Okay. My radio frequency scan showed a bunch of possible perpetrators coming from a bunch of bunch of places on my body. But one place on my body in particular, there was only one thing registered to FCC for that location. Okay. And that was for military communications and remote experimentation.
This technology exists. I mean, what you're talking about, you're not crazy. I've actually showed patents for some of this. We know that Sabrina Wallace has been disclosing a lot of this information about how they're hacking our bodies, our biofields, how they're using, all of the nanoparticles that's in our food, that's in our nanotechnology in our food, smart dust, anything that they're, stuff that they're spraying down on us. She's not crazy. This stuff is real, unfortunately. But let me ask you what, so that's very interesting.
Deleted that comment, and I'm like, where's the now? Brittany Murphy had 10 different heavy metals in high levels in her blood. Okay. And then, of course, she was dead in her bathtub. And then her husband mysteriously died a few months later. Okay. Both of those are going to be targeting victims, in my opinion. And guess who was working with them? Harley Pasternak.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know who that is?
Well, just tell us what you have.
Anyway, so I want to show you guys the where do I have
teacher? The teacher. You're always a teacher.
Trump's reverse speech. Trump's reverse speech indicates that we were not in during COVID when he said that he was fighting. What did he say? He said about COVID, he was fighting a wartime president. He was a wartime president.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, but it wasn't, according to his reverse speech, it wasn't. It was AI, and it was a predatory AI that hijacks. So one of the things that can happen, and these mass shooters, there are a bunch of them like Aaron Alexis and Myron May, who were tortured into mass shootings. So they killed a bunch of people in themselves. and they went to the same man first that scanned me, Jesse
Mhm. Oh,
Beltran,
mm,
and he was trying to help them, but there are generally two types of people: those that will cope with this, and those that are alpha males and that aren't going to put up with it, and they want to find the people doing it, and they want to
mhm,
rain down hell on them. And I can't blame them because they're being tortured. But anyway, so what we have here is we have proxy warfare.
mm.
So those ladies were sitting there on the new conservative view, including, what is her name? She used to be the White House.
Oh, Kelly
The one,
McEnany? Kelly McEnany?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
she's one of them, along with Harrison. What's her name? I need to find that video. I'm sorry, I need to find it. Just a second.
Well, so
And
we have, okay.
they're all
We're,
sitting around talking
mhm.
about that guy needing to be locked up into a mental institution, and they are covering up this technology. It's clear to me that guy is likely to have been a proxy for the real people who are responsible for her death, if this whole thing is not a
Usually
hoax.
that happens, usually. And
Yeah, so
we have comments.
you're not getting the guilty party.
Yeah,
You're not getting them
no,
if
never.
they are using him as a proxy. You have
Right.
to find the people hitting him to
Hmm.
kill her.
Okay, let me just stop you there for a second because we have some
Okay.
comments in the comment section. Calm down. Oh, God, you poor thing. They torture you. Like, oh my God, I've seen it happen in person in real life. My goodness. So, so he says that Bibi was rushed to Tel Aviv because something went horribly wrong for Mossad. I don't know how he would know that. I'm just as a comment in the comment section. And he further went on saying animus, Palantir, artificial intelligence. So he calls them shake and bake. So these are people who basically are pretty unstable. They probably are already on psychotropic medications. And then they kind of grab them and shake and bake is what their name says, and get them, kind of MK them for about a month, and then let them loose. They give them a trigger, something that will trigger them and do that. Which is why you see a lot of times these shooters are like, I'm a patsy, I'm not. They usually, you know,
Nazis,
yeah,
you know.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
and nobody, when Myron May and Aaron Alexis,
Mhm,
they tried to get help, and everyone
mhm,
ignored them,
mhm,
and
mhm,
they have been covering up this technology and covering it up. If you go to the Wikipedia page, they still won't tell you that Aaron Alexis was being tortured
yeah,
into a mass shooting.
yeah.
Okay. The same thing with Patrick Crusius. All of the mass shootings that I have looked at have been orchestrations. The Florida school shooting with Nicholas Cruz, his is connected to. It said it was ordered by a council, and his is going to be connected to the Vatican.
Mhm,
Okay, this is high level. It is a network, and the
mhm,
hub
mhm,
is in Israel. Israel is working with both China and Russia and Iran. So when we say China, 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 these are all proxies for the whore AI. They are all that. It's that network.
mhm.
So it is
Okay.
people need to understand it's a syndicate.
Okay.
It's a criminal
So
syndicate.
let's move and see what else are you finding in terms of.
Louisa, I sent you the video. It's a
Yeah,
short video of those
I'm
ladies.
on YouTube. I'm not sure I can play that because it's Fox News
Oh, right.
clip,
Okay.
so if it was yeah. Um right.
And then this, but I didn't get to finish the, or did I? Did I finish the explaining that
The
reversal?
the reversal on Trump.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could put it into uh like more.
I won't be able to do
I know
that.
you're, yeah, pointing to the global syndicate, but I was wondering more locally, what did you think? I'll pull up a clip from
That part of it was going to have to do with something that Kash Patel and the FBI are doing. And I don't know at this point if they're trying to entrap more civilians, because
mhm,
they're trying to traffic these people, this network, they're literally trying to traffic all civilians worldwide in order to clamp down, lock them down into C40 behavior cities. Oh, I do want to tell you something that's very important that reverse speech is saying. They are creating a market for behavior vaccines. Okay. So all of these people, like those cackling hens, they're like, oh, well, we have to lock him up in a mental institution. They are creating a narrative that is going to go with that. So they're going to elevate bad behavior assassinations, and they're just going to be clutching their pearls all day long for mental health because they want to be able to silence people and throw them in the loony bin. If they are coming forward with the truth on all this stuff. They don't want you to know about the technology. They don't want you to know about any of this stuff until they've sprung the trap and there's nothing you can do about it.
All right, let me ask you a question. Have you gotten anything in your reversals on Trump talking about this Golden Dome technology, which is a telecommunications technology, and
that they were mentioning the dome. I was getting those reversals a while back. Everybody was talking about the dome, so I imagine they were talking about the construction of this dome. But I can't remember specifically. Like I would have to prep for that and look for more stuff. But it has been coming up.
It has been coming up. Okay. Because there's very super advanced technology involved with that. And that's something that eventually is going to be coming out. They do have a plan to make these cities. I mean, look, some people are saying that I know that the globalists had the plan to do these 15-minute cities. We know that we see them in China, with their social credit system, and you can't leave and come and go, if you have a low credit score or something.
Right.
But they're saying it's not all bad, that there's some, I don't know if you found any good in any of this, really. I'm just trying to wonder what hope there is.
I have found what appears to be a good op, but I don't want to even talk about what it is or anything.
What it is right now? Okay, not a problem.
So there are good things happening. There are good people. But my concern is really waking people up and helping them to understand what is occurring. And guys, people are getting all goat roped into ghosts and not parasites, but parasites too. They're telling you these are all parasites when it's this technology.
Okay.
And so they're trying to get you to look at aliens and look at all that kind of stuff. Now, what I would recommend is some pattern recognition there. This is a fun little exercise. There is somebody who has put together they have cut out the ends of all Scooby-Doo all of the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine Scooby-Doo cartoons, and they put all of the unmaskings and why the bad guys before they unmask them and say it's so and so and why did they do it and what are the circumstances. If you go watch that, because they're all trying to scare you in some way, they're pretending to be a ghost to keep you away from this. If you go watch that, then you'll be better at recognizing the distractions. They want you distracted so that you cannot understand what's really going on. And so if you go watch those Scooby-Doos, a bunch of them in a row, you'll start recognizing. So UFOs, all of that stuff, that's there to distract you away from the bio-digital enslavement of planet Earth. And we did a show, but it's the AI hijacking of Earth. Yeah, so they're literally trying to hijack everything, and they're trying to move very quickly because people are waking up. And every time they do something this stupid to like assassinate Charlie Kirk after he's waking up about Israel, you can see if Charlie Kirk wakes up about Israel, there are a lot of people waking up about it. And Israel it is actually an under the table transhuman state. It was created as such. The Rothschilds, who are transhuman, were involved in the creation of Israel, of the state of Israel. So it was created as an under the table transhuman state to try to push transhumanism out faster into the world before humanity wakes up.
Well, that's what the Balfour Declaration was.
Yes,
it was used to create
the
state of Israel. Yeah. So let me just ask you about So you're saying that Trump is compromised,
Yeah.
but there's got to
He
be
doesn't want
some.
to be Charlie Kirked.
No, no, but it was really strange recently how he had like disappeared for a couple days. Remember that? And
I'm concerned that
mm,
they're targeting him now.
yeah.
Any kind of, like he said, they can give you cancer and take it away just like that. So what's wrong with him?
Yeah, I actually think that it was a double. I think there's doppelgangers being used
Oh,
that
yeah.
have conditions that are making it look like Trump's got the condition. I
Right.
think there's some weird stuff going on there, but it's because it's to protect him because, there are these, attacks, assassination attacks, as we've known. And the media doesn't report. I mean, what we saw was nothing compared to how much I can remember reporting back in 2018 on when I was reporting at the White House um an assassination attempt that happened and yeah, it's been happening. I mean, it's been happening all along. Even in his first term there was so many. That was in his first term. So yeah, it's crazy. There was something else I wanted to ask you about. Let me see, what was that? um
Do y'all want to look at reverse speech proofs?
do you
And we
have
can think
something?
about it.
What have you got?
Well, these are things that I'm storing on our Truth Social site, Trump's,
Sure,
social media,
let's take
Truth
a look.
Social. And if you want to look at them with us, I can share my screen.
Yeah, you can share
Let
your
me
screen.
see. All
I
right,
think a
it's
lot
done.
of people don't know, like they don't know what to do. That's a problem. It's I don't know. We're up against such a behemoth, and you see what happens when people speak out. So what are people supposed to do? I mean, are we all going? They're going to shoot us all, right? I
Well,
don't
you
know.
first have to grasp what's going on and what you see that Israel is getting very panicky because we're waking up.
Yeah.
Well, you need to wake up quickly and you need to understand what's happening quickly so that you can get a handle on this because this is a global plan, but it's being rolled out at the local level. You
Hmm.
need to identify these people at the local level who are, and I really appreciate those people doing First Amendment audits at police stations all over because our police were actually being trained apparently
Hmm.
by these people who came in. They're going to be connected to Israel, who were teaching them to abuse the civilian population. And so there have always been good cops and bad cops, but they were literally trying to get rid of the good cops and then teach everybody else to literally abuse
Yeah.
and to create the Stasi network.
So,
Let's
so
see.
I
Share
think
screen.
what they're doing is they're trying to also foment a civil war within the United States. And I think people need to not buy into that. I don't think anything good's going to come from that. I don't think we need a civil war. I don't have the answer, but a civil war is not going to be good. It's
Well, they
it's
need
it's going to be
to.
a bloody mess if we end up going in that direction, and people can't take the bait. I know people are upset about this, understandably so, but uh this is meant to divide the liberals and the Democrats. But there's also, what do you think about Q though? Q's always talking about how they saved Israel for last, and um
Well, they also said trust Ray.
yeah. But some of it's disinfo. Clearly some of it's disinfo. Go ahead, you have
But
your
that,
yeah,
but
your
that's
screen
a,
is up.
I mean, that's a catch-all for everything. Then they don't have, they can just lie about all of it. So Zoom
Mm-hmm.
is responding. I can't share anything.
Oh no, really?
You're gonna have to share it, Louisa. Um, I think you're gonna probably have to share it. So go to
Yeah,
our,
I don't have True Social on my I have it on my phone, but not on my computer.
but you should be able to go to it and see our account. I
Okay,
put our
let's
link,
try
I put our link in our Facebook conversation, our True
Facebook.
Social link, our
Facebook.
Facebook Messenger.
Okay. All right. Then let's see what's going on here. I have to go into Facebook and get that. I'll grab that. Let's see. Um, hold on just a second. Where's Tiffany? Here you are.
And
It's
We can start with the
Now,
last.
is it under you or is it under our still small voice? Because
It's our still small voice, and there should be a picture of me, I think, is on there.
oh, that's your truth. Okay, I got it, got it, got it. Okay, here we go.
So the last one I put on there was Megyn Kelly.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to screen share this here, and you just let me know where to go.
And this doesn't go in like the order, timeline order. It's just
Yeah.
as I remember to put them on there. And
That's okay.
all of them
Is
are not on there either.
this it here? Should I scroll down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Here we
that
go.
one, Megyn Kelly. So they're putting ads on our feed. Okay, now if you will zoom in so people can see it.
Is that better? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Better? Okay.
Okay, so I would zoom in a little bit more.
There we Oh my God, now it goes off
Now
the page. Hold on.
can you move it? Can you scoot it over to the left?
I can't now because
Okay.
I
Well,
don't have
that's good
control
right
over
there.
that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so Megyn Kelly. So remember when Megyn Kelly did her softball interview with James Alefantis?
More or less.
Well, it was interesting I mean, there's a lot of stuff I found in there, but this little one, just to show you how reverse speech works, she was doing that interview with him, and one of her reversals was, I hate my show.
Oh
She
my
said, I
God,
hate
that's
my show. Well, about a month, less than a month after I found that reversal, she left the show.
wow, that's
And
funny.
she
So,
posted it on her Facebook. So let's go ahead and play that one.
okay. That's weird. It wasn't
You're
letting
going to
me.
have to go to, see, that's R1. So what you'll do, that's a picture.
No,
So
it's
you'll
not.
go to the blog. So
Hold
click
on.
the blog
Hold on,
link
dear. It's not. There's the blog link.
over here over on the right. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So go to, and you'll scroll down to R1. And you'll want to zoom in so people can see it when you get there. Yep, there it is. So just
Okay.
zoom in.
Washington, D.C. James, thank you so much for being here.
I hate my show. I hate my show.
I'm gonna play that again just in
Can
case
you zoom
anyone.
in, Louis?
I will. I'm zooming.
Okay.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Here we go. Okay. Let's listen to that again.
Washington, D.C. James, thank you so much for being here. I hate my show.
Now, her hating her show is going to be connected to who was there, and that's James Alefantis. I don't think she liked that situation, and then she ran for the door after it. So she asked him softball questions, and she said she was making a rose knit for Henry, and in another reversal. So it looks like she got paid, or she got a kickback, or she may have even gotten threatened to ask him softball questions, because that little shit went around threatening researchers, and he tried to contact me on Facebook Messenger, and I never did accept his, any of his BS. I went and made a public statement, and I said this a-hole tried to contact me, and if that ever happens again, I will be going to the police, because I know who he is. I've done his reverse speech.
Okay.
I don't want contact from him.
Right, got it. So where are we going next here?
Well, so you want to go back to the Truth Social, because that's the blog you're in. So back to our Truth Social, yeah, and then go back one on that, so we can go to the next one on the list. Yeah, so what's the next one? That's still the Megyn Kelly one. Okay, right there. So yeah, so this one is, well, the truth has finally surfaced about the Israeli art students and September 11th. I said, here's my summary from my findings about the Israel art students. And I published it December 1st, 2017, and now we're in 2025, right?
Right.
So now the truth comes out. And you can see in the media there, they gave you more information about those Israeli art students that came out currently. And then, so my reverse speech analysis, it was pretty clear that guilt was indicated in their reverse speech. Okay, and I'm trying to read my findings. So you have to scoot back up.
Sorry.
That's okay. And so I said guilt is indicated here, and in my opinion, there are the following connections: anger toward America, connected to the guy's reverse speech, the Israeli art student, anger toward America, religious fanaticism, connected to and also connected to explosives, deception, violence, feeling persecuted, working for the military, okay, his military, the IDF, then exploiting vulnerabilities and parasitism. That's what I found in the reverse speech from the Israeli art student angle.
Okay.
Okay, now you can scroll up to see what was the connections that were found. And you'll have to look at, so,
Hold
yeah,
on
the
a second.
black.
Yeah, I know. It's just, it wasn't letting me move. I guess it wasn't
This
letting
is a
me
different
move.
post.
Yeah, but it wasn't letting me move. That was for some reason.
It wouldn't let you click on the
No,
pictures.
no, I couldn't.
And now it's out of there.
I know it's out. That's weird. See?
So the next one on there was about the Lahaina fires.
Okay, what'd you find out about I'm sorry we can't share it, but you can
There
tell us
were
about it.
directed energy weapons involved. And what is his name? Dane Wigington was interviewed on Redacted, and he said there is a desiccation that they are able to cause. It's like almost freeze drying things. And so the directed energy weapons were used as a part of that process. And I did get that the Lahaina was directed energy weapons. And of
Right.
course, it was involving the same guy who was involved in the Las Vegas shooting, who is now in charge in Lahaina.
Right. By the way, Winston Trout is in the house. I just had to announce that.
Winston
Yeah.
does, he won't remember me, but I met him at ESETI. He was out in the circle playing his guitar.
Oh, how nice. What a nice memory you have. Yeah. And Winston brought up a good point. A lot of people don't know Winston has a psychology degree, and he trained chickens how to dance, honestly, like a Skinner bucks. It's just an amazing
Wow.
story. He is so full. I love his, you remember the Country Roads series of reports I used to do with Winston, and how he would just get me cracking up hysterical. When he gets me laughing, there's no off button. There was just he's such an amazing man, and I'm so glad he's here with us. Let me just see what so he's saying that the public is suffering from Stockholm syndrome, and they're really not able to have independent thoughts. And I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I've said it myself so many times. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, well, if you're going to be brainwashed, you might as well be brainwashed in the right direction. So go watch the Scooby-Doo endings, and that will help you brainwash yourself into pattern recognition for how these people are doing all this stuff, and when you're being distracted. So, because it'll be like, oh yeah, that was Scooby-Doo number whatever,
Where was that again?
The Scooby-Doo endings. I'm telling you, it's all in Scooby-Doo. So, for example, the Skinwalker Ranch is going to be one of them. They're doing radiation shenanigans. They're trying to scare people away from the crap they're doing, and that's going to be all to do with these weapons, UFOs, all of that stuff. They're trying to scare you away and distract you away from what Sabrina Wallace has been talking about and outing, and how they're doing all of that.
Okay, so you don't think there's any positive interdimensionals that are helping us?
Yeah, I think that we need to not try to be contacting anybody, but because of the trickery and the evil crap that's coming through. You pray to God, and you have your own intention, and you do good, positive things, and you just know that positive is there. Don't reach out, because if you're reaching out, yeah, well, something's going to contact you.
So Dr. Horace Drew is a Caltech scientist who is now living in Australia, but he has decoded triple binary code messages that are in crop circles. And he says that Q is Quetzalcoatl, and Q is behind this operation. That's who Q is. And that's why even a Q post says you're never going to believe who's talking to you here. So we don't know who that really is. But he is very adamant about the message that he received, that he decoded, and he talks about virtually hostile, possible takeover of Earth from these aliens, these negative ones that are coming. Maybe they're. Did you get? That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you get anything about or 3I or 31 Atlas? Do you have any reversals on that at all?
I have not, but that's going to be another one where they're trying to distract you away from the trap they are setting.
Yeah.
The important thing to focus on right now is the trap that they are setting. Like if you're a mouse and you're headed toward the cheese, you don't want to be messing with Q and Quetzalcoatl and Skinwalker Ranch and UFOs. You need to focus on turning around away from those distractions and away from the trap and focusing on how to spring it without getting caught in it, and still maybe being able to get the cheese or whatever, right? So you want to be able to recognize the trap and recognize all of the different things in ways that you can protect yourself and unmask these people doing this so other people understand what it is.
Okay. Just so you know, you're a little dark, so because the light has gone down behind you outside. If you wanted, to put a little light on or something, it might help brighten you up a little bit.
Let me see.
It got dark out. We started out in daytime and then it got dark, but
Right.
a little bit of light probably would look.
And the Lord said,
yeah, that's better. That's a little bit better.
"Let there be light."
And then there was light. Yeah.
And there was light.
There was light. Let's just see what other comments there are here. Yeah, I mean, paralyzed due to confusion, induction, a very natural response to MK Ultra, Internet of Things, Animus. Palantir is behind all of that, according to this comment.
There are way more than Palantir. So see, they're holding up Palantir, but there are a ton of them besides Palantir, and it's a whole big giant network.
Yeah, I mean, it's so big that like nobody would ever even believe something like this really exists.
They have been working on this. They have totally been working on this for decades and using our own tax money to do it. So yeah, it's time to, wake up. What?
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just,
what are you laughing at?
No, the camera, the pause and stuff like that. I'm sorry that I couldn't get True Social to work for you better.
Yeah, because all of our proofs, our RS proofs are on there, and of course, one of the big ones is the New Jersey drones. The New Jersey drones. See, they wouldn't tell you what those were. That's part of your new AI precision healthcare, and it's a dual use system. So they want to be able to do whatever they want to you, to your body, mind, and spirit with this new system, this AI precision healthcare. And if you don't comply, then they'll start punishing you with the weaponized part of it. See, that's what they've been testing on TIs. And that's what they've been literally torturing us with, and saying, how far can we get them to go? Well, they're getting people to commit mass shootings. They're hijacking people. This technology is totally real.
And it's all artificial intelligence driven. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, and they're interfacing you with it.
Right.
I mean, James Giordano. I don't get good reverse speech on him either. It says he's aiding the eye of evil, the perception of evil, and he's acting like he's a good guy, and he's acting like an ethicist, but it doesn't seem like he's doing ethical stuff to me. It looks, and his reverse speech says that he is looking for his next victim to force into illness.
So we have another comment in the live chat from Winston. He's saying the Skinwalker is on top of an ancient prison, and some of the ghouls escape from time to time.
Yeah, and they're going to be in the form of this radiation and the weaponized grid. So they're going to, all of this technology, like I said, you need to Scooby-Doo it. Who benefits? What are they trying to keep you away from? You know,
Mm-hmm.
they want to be able to do all of this stuff in private, and they don't want prying eyes seeing what they're doing. So they're trying to scare you away and hurt you even
Uh-huh.
to keep
Yeah.
away from their stuff.
So this is interesting though. Yeah, I was wondering if you had any reversals on that, with that, what was incoming, and he's actually concerned, this Caltech, who I've interviewed here on the Goldfish Report. He's concerned that this could potentially really be something. I mean, look, can you imagine? I mean, UFOs are real. I'm sorry, I've seen so many of them myself. It's
Yeah,
not.
they are, but they're a child trafficking front. So people who like to celebrate UFOs, I mean, that's all and ETs, I'm getting, I mean, in David Wilcock's reverse speech and mine, was waving us off of them completely and totally. So there's nothing positive there. We're being waved off of them altogether. So people who, oh, and I get really dark negative stuff from Dr. Stephen Greer's contact, CE5 contact stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, don't reach out for that. Reach out for God, reach out for each other. Go, stick with the basics. Don't be distracted by all that crap because they're going to try to distract you. However, if you must look at those distractions, you can start looking at the reverse speech and it will direct you back out of there.
Right.
So for instance, I had a client and that client was missing her parents terribly, and because they both passed. At the same time, not by coincidence, in my opinion, because these technologies and there's no they're surveilling everybody, and it's so. At the same time, she started seeing orbs, and she was like wondering if her mom was giving her a shout out from the other side.
Okay.
So when I looked at that, I got two different things. One was they said your mom is with the Savior. Okay, that's one thing. And then it directed her away from the orbs. It's like that is a technology where they are trying to take advantage of your vulnerability of you missing your mother to try to get you aligned with, oh, that's mom. And then they can get you walking down their path. They can start indoctrinating you. Once you think it's your mom and mom is giving you a shout out, then they can start indoctrinating you. Right? So you have to be careful of that kind of stuff because that technology is being used for that. Like the nutballs who are involved in my targeting, that's how they came across to me. They were like, yeah, we're ETs. No, they were making money off of my biodigital trafficking, of them biodigitally trafficking me.
Well, it does seem that there's definitely some control. It's a controlled disclosure when it comes to this. They're not obviously telling us the full truth about these craft, and it just seems almost like kindergarten style, honestly. But
The
I mean,
trafficking front. So I wouldn't celebrate them because there are people like, see, UFO, oh, so great. And the only thing that, I looked at that too. See, I've looked at both sides of this. People who are having negative and people who think it's just great and are having positive experience.
Yeah.
They're all negative in reverse speech. When I looked at this guy and his teenager, they were celebrating. But the teenager especially, I looked at that teenager's reverse speech and they were like, oh, it's a UFO, look. And right there he's going, I don't know if it was a female or male teenager, but the teenager said very clearly, very clear reversal, there's that whore again. That's the AI whore. So, I mean, it's a child trafficking front.
Well, that's what they don't want you to find out, because that's what they found in the crash at Roswell. They found, human remains, and they don't want people to know that.
David Oates and his friend, they've all died now, and some of them very mysteriously. But that was another guy who David Oates started reverse speech with. David discovered it, but it was more than just David. So it was Greg. I can't remember his last name, but they found reverse speech on Roswell that was talking about little boys and little girls. Now, why would that be? You see, and when you look at Flight of the Navigator, remember that movie? They have the little boy and he's got the UFO and the steps are coming down, and every single one of those steps into each one of those steps is stamped the boy love symbol that the FBI published.
Right. They hide that right in the
They're
the
telling
movies.
you.
Yeah, they're telling you.
UFOs.
Mhm.
Oh, and another thing was Jazz Jennings
Mhm.
in the little they're putting all of this stuff as advertisements. It's an advertisement network. It's a PR campaign network. A global PR campaign network is how they're rolling a lot of this stuff out. So Jazz Jennings was wearing a UFO shirt. It had a pedo symbol on it.
Mhm.
And as soon as I discovered that and put it on my blog, that video disappeared. But the news guy said, and this is what I found with transgender, it's connected to AI and identity assault.
Mm.
MK Ultra. And guys, the MK Ultra of today is connected to digital twins. Because what you do is you have a representation on a computer of your digital twin, and then some a-hole goes, you know what, let's torture this person. Let's make these changes, and they put the changes in to the digital twin, and then the technology responds and starts hitting you to make those changes in pressure waves or whatever. So if I want to press down your chest using a pressure wave, then I do that to your digital twin. And they did that to me constantly when I was being heavily tortured. So they're using digital twins. And so transgender is connected to identity assault, MK Ultra. So I'm like, they are assaulting people into adopting these ideas and indoctrinating them in such a way that they feel uncomfortable in their own bodies. And they sent that programming in to me twice. I was like, what is that? So I found it on every single transgender that I've looked at. It's showing up with AI and identity assault, MK Ultra or digital twinning. So people, I'm like, you don't need to sell that to other people. You don't need to sell to other people the fact that you're being assaulted into adopting an identity. And a lot of these people that they're assaulting already are victims of abuse and rape and all kinds of things. They look for those vulnerable populations and vulnerable people in order to further assault them into changing their ideologies, changing their making them feel like they're in the wrong body and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Remote influencing to comment. Roswell, yeah, crash videos on the airport. Right. Well, look, this is kind of heavy for tonight, and but this is really what's happening. If you want to pull, most people can't handle this, and I think almost everybody left the chat. So,
no.
yeah, it's a little heavy, and it's something you have to
Well,
live
you
with,
want to lighten it back
unfortunately.
up? We can go over to and do the first two reversals that are on. You have a lot of people that want that fantasy too. They don't like it when you rip away their UFOs and their ETs. Those are like little cuddle blankets to them. But I don't know what to tell people. If you want a fantasy and you aren't worried about this enslavement issue, then you can go ahead.
But you're consistently finding negative reversals anytime ETs are mentioned. Is that correct?
Yes. ETs, UFOs, it's all connected to this transhuman stuff. Wherever I have looked at them, it's always. But now, a couple of positive ones we can go on is you can go on my blog and look at my spooky reverse speech. And before I started out with the spookiness, I put two positive ones so that let's focus on that because, people really, they don't want you to rip away their fantasies.
Well, it's from a psychology perspective, and I have a degree in psychology too, and I worked in research in psychology, and I have to tell you, I mean, this is the problem, right? It's like you can't it's not a matter of not liking. First of all, there is a psychological phenomena that's going on. As Winston said, there is Stockholm syndrome. So the Milgram study was
That's
a,
where they
a
what
very well
that's
where
where they held the thing this year. The burger, what is it? Build a Burger. They
yeah
held it in Stockholm, Sweden this year. I
yeah
was like, you.
yeah
I
well
think they did that on purpose.
right.
They know what
They
this
do.
is.
Well, they always do. I mean, they do laugh in our faces, and people don't see it. They don't realize it.
But yeah, the milk.
But the Milgram study showed that there was this allegiance that people have to authority, and even when they knew that that they were causing harm, the study was constructed such that person was in front of a box that had these dials that would administer an electric shock to somebody who was sitting in another room. They didn't watch this, but they could hear a person, screaming every time they turned it up, and they would turn it up more and more and more. And it was like 65% of the people went along with the white coat authority, like the doctor, right? The white coat. So they went along with it, even though they knew, or at least that they believed, that they were inflicting harm on other people. And so this is the problem that we have. We're too trusting. We're easily manipulated. As you can see, they're manipulating us, and people don't realize it. So, that study really is, I guess, confirmed to them that this was going to be successful, that whatever that they probably conducted the study. I mean, I'm going out on a limb here, but it's possible that was, the evidence that they had to move forward, and with confidence that they would be successful. So I mean, but there's also been other psychological phenomena that's been inflicted on society. Demoralization, this whole thing, we have been absolutely demoralized using the Trojan horses of political correctness and everything else, wokeness, whatever you want to call it, through ideological subversion. And people have been, this is, right from Yuri Bezmenov, who was a KGB defector who
Yeah,
came to the United States and revealed the method to us at the time. Yet we're still all demoralized, quite
that's very
honestly.
true. All of that. Yep, yep. And that's how it's coming across. I don't know how you. I pray about it a lot. I'm like, please open our eyes and good to good people. Please open their eyes humanely.
Yeah.
I don't want good people to have to learn the way that I did by being tortured into
Yeah.
disability and having family members murdered to
Mhm.
get to wake up to reality.
Mhm.
Like these people said, yeah, we're ETs. Here, contact, you're a contactee.
Mhm.
That's what they told me.
Well, whenever I have seen, like, especially the last time I was doing a live stream, in fact, when I had seen it, I was screen sharing a video, and while the video was playing, I was being directed to come outside and look, and I did, and it was right there, and I was looking through binoculars, and I could, see a much closer picture. And the first thing I
I've
was
seen a bunch
thinking,
of that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first thing I was thinking was, where's your treaty? Where's your treaty to be here to interact with humanity? Because I kind of feel like we're not in any position, like we're a level zero civilization. And I think the goal is to bring us into a level one civilization, as Michio Kaku has explained. Are there any noble, goals, that we
Well,
can find here?
I mean, when I look at ETs and it says don't even go there, to me, that tells me. And when Bill Nye, of course, he's a fraud,
forget about
but
that.
his reverse speech is going
Yeah.
to be correct. But he's sitting there saying,
Mhm.
what he's saying he told everybody, and
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh. He said, the earth is a closed system, right? So I looked at the reverse speech there, and it's saying, is it thir he visit? In other words, it sounds like they're talking about a giant internet and we're interacting in the ether and not in outer space. So, and it said, sir, on his, it said,
Mhm.
sir is being punished
Yeah. Mhm.
when he was talking about that.
Mhm.
So, there is a punishment connected to our closed system, which was
Yeah,
weird. I haven't figured that out all the
let
way.
me ask you something else. How much uh does the Bible or do quotes from the Bible ever come up in your reversals?
There are 8 verses in the Bible that David finally put those out. I was like, finally, let me look. And I posted them because see, he's David Oates, my teacher, the discoverer of reverse speech. He's the son of a pastor, and I'm not a Bible thumper at all. He said, yeah, there are 8. Let's see if I can find
Well,
them.
you don't need to be a Bible thumper to realize that there's uh you know there's correlations to passages in the Bible that you can use as, and I use it as a direct reference sometimes. I mean, there's citation as a citation because it's unfolding. Some of these things are unfolding right before our eyes. And I also use decoded messages from the Bible as well, because it's not, as Winston says, it's an allegory. So some of it is, the code in the Bible, some of the real information is through an analogy and not necessarily straightforward. Or
Metaphorical, just like reverse speech.
metaphorical. Sure.
Yeah.
Metaphorical, exactly.
Reverse speech can come in on multiple levels. So it's an and or situation. You can read it metaphorically and or literally.
Yeah.
It'll come through
I mean,
both
do you ever
ways.
get any messages from God, for goodness sakes? I mean,
Oh yeah,
he just threw
oh yeah.
us in this nut shop. He just threw us in this prison
And
for
that's
nothing.
that's what I'm trying to decode. But if you don't support reverse speech, then I have to go get another job. I can't do reverse speech to find out what
Yeah,
I'm finding out here. But
exactly.
so, for example, Bill Barr's reverse speech, he says, connected to Epstein and Epstein's suicide.
Mhm.
Okay. He agreed with the suicide, that he's agreed with the ME's findings, of course, because he's in that cult, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But his reverse speech was very important there because it said God blames us for allowing and going along with the AI death trap and not doing anything to stop it. He blames those who are not standing up and trying to stop the AI death trap.
Who know about it.
Who know about it consciously. But you have people that at this point are being willfully blind about a lot of things, and they're wanting to clutch onto their fantasies and all of that. But I'm like, look, you got 2 choices. I don't want y'all to have to learn the way that I did, and I do pray
But I
about it a
think
lot.
that's what's happening. I think these things are unfolding to and they're going to get, I think, more and more intense and more
Well,
obvious, so that
yeah,
more people can kind of get, clued in on what is happening and to stop it. Now, remember Cyrus Parsa, he was murdered recently.
yeah.
He filed a lawsuit in federal court regarding the dangers of AI, and I was trying to find that copy.
Transfer.
I was trying to find that, and I couldn't find that document. But he wanted to bring awareness to this, and he did, regarding uh, what they're really doing to humanity with AI. And he very, very well written federal complaint that was filed against the major tech companies that are behind all of this. What are you getting in your reversals regarding digital currency? Are you getting it? Have you found anything over the course of time so far?
It's calling it a Nazi snare
Yeah,
connected to Tel Aviv.
right. The enslavement. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 just more of what China has, right? The whole social credit system, and the
yeah.
can't look. I mean, it's an agenda that's
But
been out there. Can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast, right? So it's the beast. It's the mark of the
yeah.
beast, right? Yeah.
And let me tell you about the rest of that, because there's a hidden AI that is aggregating data for the cull, but the cull is not going to be as big as they wanted. But he says there's a hidden Bill Bars again. There's a hidden AI connected to neural studies and transhumans funding Israel.
Uh-huh.
So, and it says God blames us for doing nothing in the face of an AI death trap. I want to really hit that home with that. That's important. God blames those doing nothing in the face of an AI death trap.
Mm.
Okay, so if that is you, then please figure out what you can do to help.
Right.
You don't want to piss
Wow.
God off, I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, and so Winston says years ago, Saint Germain warned us of dangerous AI. So, there it is. Yeah. Winston says that the King James version of the Bible is a blueprint for our modern commercial system. And he's right. He's pointed to this in one of our country roads reports that we did in the past, how it lines up with our U.S. code system. So very interesting. And essentially you can almost take those numbers from the Bible and, they almost transfer. Isn't that right, Winston? They are almost exactly, the same. The numbers are almost the same as the numbers, the chapters in the Bible and stuff like that. So, but very
You
interesting.
know what? I had a reversal connected to it had to do with Trump. Like they just voted to not open the Epstein files. I do believe what Trump is saying about those files, I do believe they were contaminated. I do believe they contaminated the evidence due to the reversal that I got, where it talked about snagging an evil Trump using I can't remember the name of it because I wish I had been better prepared, but it is it's a type of attack, and it's a type of it was a fake picture. It was talking about it looked like it was talking about a fake picture. So I think they contaminated the evidence, and that is why Republicans voted not to let that out.
So you're talking about deep fakes.
Yeah. It was a I wish I could remember that. My head's
it's all right, but the
constantly.
point is that it's real. It's very hard for some people, for most people. I mean, it's very hard to tell a deep fake. Some people can tell, but I think most people probably can't. And so it would be.
But there is stuff around Trump that has, like, I found a reversal on him on a Christmas thing that was he was fearful in that, which was weird. It didn't match the Christmas message he was putting out, and he was saying, he was like, don't tell anyone, we fear Malawi. Brought up Malawi. He was, now that may have not connected to him personally, but there's trafficking and celebrities who love Malawi.
Yeah, right. Madonna supposedly adopted.
So he said there is fear around what is happening in Malawi. So that's likely to also be connected to trafficking.
Or, the adrenochrome production and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, this was quite, look, it was very impromptu. I really appreciate you joining me tonight and kind of going through some of this in light of this, tragedy that happened with Charlie Kirk, and some are also trying to say that this is not just to silence other people and, who may want to, speak out, but
that's yep.
Yeah.
They're warning that network. You want to flip against Israel? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take your chances. That's
but also
exactly
to foment a civil war too. So I mean, there's never really only one purpose behind their agendas. It's usually multiple purposes behind it.
More bang for their buck. Yep.
Yeah. So we just need to be wise. We need to be but united together,
Absolutely.
But I'm just saying that if people need to just calm down after this, because we don't want a civil war. We don't want it. And unfortunately, I saw Alex Jones out there talking about, people it's almost like in his negating a civil war, he's actually almost promoting it, and I'm
promoting the rounding up of that network and Republicans and Democrats coming together to do it. And if they understood what was really going on, what transgender actually is and who is doing that to them, I'm like, we need to round those people up that hurt you.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Trump, before we close it out, what do you think about Trump rounding up all these gangs and stuff like that? That's pretty significant.
I think that they are trying to make changes. So one thing that I think is going on is that you have Team Satan versus Team Diet Satan. They're both vampires. Okay, one of them is satanic, and one of them's more kinder
Yeah.
and gentler.
Hmm.
But they're both showing up as vampires.
Yeah.
So
The Bible,
they're
sorry,
both enslavements.
the
One
Bible,
is more sadistic.
the Bible does talk about vampires. I mean, the Bible talks about things. I found this channel that is amazing. The way that this woman does these decodes, and it's like she has a real skill for this. I have found it to be interesting because she's trying to understand what's really written there. And if you go to I
It's
think it's
energy sucking of
yeah,
any kind.
but the way she decodes this, a lot of people don't really take the time to try to go through and understand. We take the Bible literally for what it's literally saying. But I suppose, the people who had good intentions behind it originally, knew they had to hide things in metaphors like you're saying in
Right.
order to get it out there because of course, uh, that was changed, to create the King James version. But we do know that a lot of original materials in the Ethiopian Bible, and that includes these lost books, which really present a very different picture. But nonetheless, the truth is in the books. There's still truth in the books, and she does this amazing decode by looking up certain numbers. I mean, looking up certain uh, terms by their number, the number that they appear in the Bible, uh,
Mhm.
and and they have multiple meanings. So that really changes. I'm talking about when you study. Talk about studying the Bible. A lot of people just run from it because they just think, and rightfully so, because initially it is
Same thing
a
happens
control
with
tool.
reverse speech.
It's
Yeah.
a
You're
control
like,
tool,
it's too
right?
much. It's
Yeah.
too,
Well,
time
but it's a
consuming. It's
a lot
too,
of people do feel that, and then of course the revisions, the King James version, uh, you know, the edits, how they rewrote the book and removed so much important information, really was meant to, control the population. So,
I think that
people get
also,
that. People get that. Yeah.
I think the Book of Enoch is also that. I think that was a cult input. And I found a very good video about that I agreed with.
Mm.
And I probably can find that pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, I'm not so sure. I think
I
they're
do. I mean, that's where I'm resting. I know there are
yeah.
people who want to believe, and again, if you want to believe that, that's good. I don't. I think that the cult put that in. I think the same syndicate that we have been fighting for thousands of years,
Yeah.
that's their entry into it.
Well, but it's in
And
the Ethiopian Bible, which is, a
that,
little bit more, yeah. They've kept it in there. So,
well, this guy addresses all of those things, and
Mm.
it's called The Real Truth About the Book of Enoch, the
Okay.
Essenes,
Hmm.
and Freemasons with Gary Wayne. That's on YouTube.
Okay. You should, always look
So
at both sides.
check it
Everybody
out.
should
Yeah,
look at all
check it
the
out and see what
information
you
and check
think.
it out and
Yeah.
see what you find out. But look, I wish you well. I hope that people start becoming more interested in reverse speech. I think there's definitely plenty of people in the anon community who really should know more about you and should want to uh, you know, consult you for, your services for
Good.
what's really happening. And I really do hope that people do that because
Thank you.
you're
Yeah.
so very good at what you do. And I know you feel like there should be a lot more people doing reverse speech, but you hear it so well. And I have downloaded the software. I have tried to do it, and I don't have the ear for it as you do. But I guess that also comes with more practice as well, too.
Hi. I mean,
Yeah.
what, if the world spent as much time in clickbait and propaganda and all of these other methods and things
Yeah.
in reverse speech,
Yeah.
the world would be a totally different place because it plugs right into our very consciousness.
Yeah.
And so if people would learn it to the level they can, not everybody's going to be a reverse speech analyst, but you can trade for services, you can learn it up to the level, you can share it, you can talk about it, you can keep up and current with what's coming out in it. And you can totally trade for services and support it. So that it can get out. So
let me get your I think I had it up here before. What did I do with it? Your address.
So that's hi.page. And if you go to our hi page, it's our all-in-one link. So you can get our free blog it's free for now,
This is it right here. So the URL you can see is right over here. It's hy.page/r still small voice. So it was good to see you, Tiffany. I haven't seen you in a while. This was a little impromptu because we had a change of plans this week, and I was just gonna do, an intel report. And I said, let me just call up Tiffany and see what's going on, because, usually we catch up by now, every 6 months or so, and try to check in and see what's going on with reversals. And, but this was, especially in light of what happened with Charlie Kirk the other day, was kind of, I don't know, man, that was so graphic. That was horrible. The whole thing was so graphic. But it seemed like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think anybody could ever bleed like that. I mean, it was like a faucet, for goodness sakes. Seemed a little like, can we really bleed like that? I don't know. So anyway,
I feel like that was a message, just like President Kennedy.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. That was kind of the same thing Kennedy was doing, right? So, it's kind of, but my prayers go out to his wife and kids, and I just hope that we can get on top of this, and pray for help too. Pray for help. I mean, if we can't do it ourselves, if you don't know what to do, pray for help. because we, and don't forget that, we have a creator.
I pray to God to kill off this evil, open our eyes, open good people's eyes humanely, and, keep us, protect us, heal us, provide for us, and direct us where to go to get things back in a proper balance. And do remember, these people love for you to try to push boundaries. What I say is, find a real balance, a real boundary, and then respect why God put it there, and don't try to push it. Because if you try to push boundaries, and it is thinking of it in an architect's, if it's a beam support, then you push it out, and you're going to collapse everything down on your head.
Lacey's making a comment, and I don't know. She says, "Who is this person you speak of?" And I'm not sure what the context was for that question. So if you wanted to, before we sign off, if you wanted to.
Oh, it's that lady that you're talking about. So she wants to know more about that method. There's a lady that looks at things more deeply, you said. Who is the lady you brought up?
Right. It's not like a name. It's like a. I'll put the link in the description section, but I think everyone should take a look at this and realize that there are more deeper messages in the Bible, that we do have to put that work in to find them and to understand it. Right or
nobody
wrong,
wants to put work into anything, not reverse speech, not that. So,
Okay. Well,
come on, guys.
I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone who's watching and who's in the chat. And Dan, you've been very active, and with lots of comments. And they were
Hi, Dan.
He's there. Yeah, he says thank you. He was ever so much for coming, Tiffany. Blessings and much love.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Winston's in the house. I'm always glad when we have our friends come by and join us and can interact with us. That's why I love the live. I absolutely just love the live. Right. And Winston has a very good point. 5-pointed star on US fiat is the Star of David. But he also said, he says that so was it Sheba, the wife of Solomon the wizard, was an Ethiopian. Interesting. The 6-pointed star is the seal of Solomon. So no wonder the Israelis use it. So very interesting. Winston, Can't wait to see you back in here. I'm on here. That'll come in time, but I'm so glad you're with us.
Oh, guys, y'all might want to go look at. I have a Halloween version for those people who celebrate Halloween, and then I also have one that I did for Thanksgiving, and it has a genuine miracle in it from God. Yeah. So it tells the difference between these fake miracles from these people who are persecuting us and God. Yeah, it's a really
where's that one?
That's on our blog, which you can get to through our high page. Our high page will connect. It's an
Okay.
all-in-one link, all-in-one link to our other materials, our blog, all of that stuff.
Everybody should really, think about it during this holiday season when you're at your Thanksgiving table and you don't know what to talk about. Talk about reverse speech and find out what
That'll be
happens and bring
fabulous.
it up while you're choking down some turkey and cranberry sauce and some stuffing. I mean, honestly, at this point, right, we've gone through such a gamut of things we can't talk about at the holiday dinner table. Might as well
Right.
throw in one more. But it's interesting because I'm telling you, there's just some. All right, this is another issue I found. Not that it's new, not by any means. Quite honestly, you're right. A lot of people don't like digging into things. They don't really have the attention span.
Yeah.
Just
But you got to create.
not everybody's created equal here. Well, I don't know if they're created equal, but they're certainly not equal in terms of intelligence. I'm telling you, there's really people that don't care, don't want to know, and just keep living, whatever. And I'm not saying they're not intelligent. I'm just saying that, like you said, willful ignorance, that's different. So that's kind of a problem. But I do think that there are some people who, no matter how much you explain to them, they just refuse to see any other point of view. And there's nothing you could do about that. Absolutely nothing. NPCs, whatever you want to call them. There's just some people you absolutely cannot reason with because they have to be right. They have to have the last word. They are hell bent on their social, poetic justice. And they, you're just not going to change their mind. And that's because of demoralization. I mean, in fact, Yuri Bezmenov even said this. He says, they are not, you can show them the evidence and they will not believe it. You can put your boot on their head, on their face. You can knock them to the ground and put the boot on their head and they still won't believe it.
Right.
I
wish we had gone further and told us how to pop people out of that.
These are psychological operations, and this is the whole point. How do you pop people out of that? Good question, and that's for another time. So maybe you can do some reversals on us talking about it and find out what the solution is.
Right.
And then we can work on it together.
Right.
All right. Let's get somewhere. I like progress. I don't like stagnant energy. We can't really. Can you reverse speech a stutter? Yeah, I mean, Tiffany did reverse speech on autistic kids. I mean, yes, you can reverse speech.
David Oates is a stutterer, and he worked on that through reverse speech, and you can't. It hardly ever comes in.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you cannot lie in reverse speech. Exactly. Reverse speech is beyond.
Cannot lie from that side of our consciousness.
No, you can't. So yes,
do you know
somebody?
Do y'all know the apparently kid, that little redheaded kid?
Yeah, apparently. Oh, he's so cute.
He's so cute.
He is so cute. I did. Apparently.
I started
he's like so smart. That's how he talks.
Yeah, so reverse speech, I did his reverse speech. So if you go to my, go to the blog and go to the Halloween blog, there are 2 positive reversals because a lot of it's heavy because it's scary, spooky reverse speech. Yeah. But the first 2, I'm like, let's start out light here. And I did the apparently kid.
Oh, he is so cute.
And I put the video there in his reversal. His reversal's cute too.
Oh, he's so adorable. He's just so adorable. And you wonder how they possess such, how polished, they could be so polished, so articulate,
And then the first thing they did with that child is stick him on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Oh, well. That wasn't such a good thing. But, notice how a lot of celebrities are disappearing. A lot of, Hollywood is not the same anymore. A lot of these celebrities have disappeared. A lot of things are changing behind the scenes, and
I think that, yeah, we definitely, what I have said is Team Diet Satan needs to commandeer the grid, and then we need their buy-in to
yeah,
start dismantling it. If you want to, you need to be making money on things that the truth are going to bring more truth, life, health, positive, benevolent balance
mm,
in that direction instead of this money from suffering scamming network
right. Well,
to enslave.
we need to be treated for Stockholm syndrome and demoralization, and then I think people, but
Yes,
it has
ma'am.
been, see, the reason this happened is because of incrementalization. This is the MO.
Yeah.
They know that if they
And
do
compartmentalization.
very incremental changes, that people won't rebel or reject it. But if
Right.
you do something drastic overnight without some sort of punctuating event like a 9/11 to throw in a Patriot Act, which, surveils everybody and steals everybody's freedoms, then that's how they do it. That's how, that's one way to do it, but you can't
Have
keep
you,
having these punctuating events. So typically what policy makers do is I mean, literally, this is in public policy theory, if you want to call it that, because I was studying that. So yeah, so that is the method of operandi, is incrementalization, so people don't notice. It's the proverbial frog in the pot.
have you
That's
seen
what
what
it is.
those folks are doing in Nepal?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Our politicians in that corrupt network is trying to figure out
Yeah.
how to crush us without that happening over here. Without left and right coming
Yeah.
together and aiming
Right.
higher straight at them. Because they're throwing those people, those communist politicians, in the river,
Uh-huh.
and they actually did or they're reporting that the prime, I think it was the prime minister's wife is dead. They broke into the home, but I'm
Yeah.
like, those people aren't putting up with shit,
Yeah.
and they have come together to address that. And what did God say about evil? Are we supposed to ignore it? Are we supposed to enjoy it? Are we supposed to, what are we supposed to
Right.
do?
Right. Yeah, and Winston says, yeah, they're going to take the red pill suppository. You're absolutely right, Winston. And then, of course, we also have in here, Conspiratary says, Winston, so good to see you. So I didn't know if Winston was able to see that in the chat, but it's nice. Everybody's very happy when they see Winston show up. And yeah, she's also saying that Charlie Wife's speech today was so beautiful. So yeah, definitely. And it's really something I think we're going to see a lot more coming out in the next few days. So everybody should just, but stay calm. Don't get involved in a civil war. That's what they want. And then, all hell's going to break loose if that happens.
Hey, I'm telling you what,
Our
sister,
society will change so drastically, so quickly, your head will spin. It's not something we want.
I am looking forward to the left and the right coming together and all divisions coming together to defeat these. They literally are coming across in the reverse speech as the enemy.
Yeah.
So we don't need to be, we need to come together against that.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
that is what I suggest.
Yeah, I agree. And so
Yeah.
let's do that reversal on how we can fix this, and then we can how to unprogram as
Deprogram.
Kathy
Yeah.
O'Brien says, transformation, right? People are in a trance. They're absolutely just spellbound, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, everybody. So, well, thank you so much, Tiffany. Good to see you again. Good luck
You're
with
so
everything.
welcome.
And I
Thank
hope,
you.
I hope more people are going to be following you, and also getting your services. I mean, Tiffany has insight into a lot of things, not just geopolitical, but you definitely are very talented and gifted with this. It's certainly something I wasn't, it's not something that I'm ever going to be as good at as you are. So, okay. So you have a great weekend, Tiffany. And to
Thank you so
everybody,
much.
Mark will be with us next week. Don't forget to check out this interview we did this morning with this fantastic gentleman and his amazing, beautiful hearted next door neighbor who took it upon herself to get some DMSO for this gentleman who had COPD, and he is now really
That
has
is so fabulous.
a new lease on life. I'm telling you,
I have heard good things about DMSO.
Yeah.
It's so stinky and hard to Hard to take though, because
It
it's
is.
very difficult to ingest. But I've heard such good things about it. Amazing,
Yeah.
miraculous
Well,
things.
this is through a nebulizer because his breathing was so bad that he was, really had very poor quality of life. But what it does is it tends to revive failing tissue, and it suppresses the activity of certain proteins um, that cause cell death and inflammation. So, there's
Where
a
is
lot
that?
of
Where is that, Louisa?
yeah, this is Dr. Pierre Corey did um a literature review of over 3,000 um articles. Some were anecdotal, but some were scientific.
But
And you
is it on
couldn't
your
find them.
channel?
Hold on, you can't find this in the United States because you're not allowed to do research with DMSO. But what he did was he found most of the research, most of the scientific literature that he found that he did this literature review with was outside of the country in Germany because Germans are more advanced with alternative healing. China, South Africa, other countries who were doing this, treatments with DMSO. So why isn't the United States doing it? And people need to, if you want to get angry about something, you should start realizing how you're all being played. We're all being played by big pharma and the whole cartel, the whole, pharmaceutical industry complex, because we don't need to be dying and suffering like this. But if we weren't, they'd make no money. So we have to decide as a culture, capitalism with a conscience or no capital. I mean, there has to be some moral grounds. I mean, we're absolutely being exploited because business doesn't have to abide by any moral grounds, any moral behavior whatsoever. The
But
best you
where
could
can I
do is
go to see the interview?
antitrust. Best you could do is an antitrust interview. I mean, antitrust lawsuit.
Right.
The interview is, I have some work to clean it up because we had some technical problems. So I do
Oh,
need to do some editing on it. It's not published yet, but it'll be uploaded on my BitChute channel and you'll get to watch it there and listen to, really just beautiful people who are there to help each other and to save a soul. And, that's what it's all about. So we're trying to save souls. They're trying to take our souls. We need to put our armor of God on, for goodness sakes, folks. We need to wear that every single day
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
fight this enemy. There's no question. We all need to do it collectively, or we're all
Yes.
going to be consumed by it if we don't. So
Yeah.
have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. We didn't even talk about September 11th or anything like that, but we'll have to get to that another time. I hope everyone has a safe weekend and we'll see you next week. And check out the BitChute channel because it's going to have this one and the other video uploaded
I'm
on it.
excited to see that interview.
Yeah, it's very nice. He's also a Texan. They're both Texans,
Oh,
funny. It's something about
right
Texans. Yeah, I know. I told him I love Texans.
on.
Funny people, man. You guys are just so lively and spirited down there and genuine and authentic and sincere. You just gotta love Texans. Okay. So I'll see you again soon, Tiffany. Thanks so much
Okay.
for joining me. And everyone, thanks for joining us. This concludes this edition of the Goldfish